Hello everyone and welcome to HCIactive's ACA Reporting Dashboard webinar. Your presenter today is Livieri, Senior Business Analyst of HCIactive. Ty has over 15 years experience in healthcare management and technology and will walk you through the ACA reporting process and our dashboard features. This webinar is scheduled to last 20 minutes. So if you have any questions along the way, please use our chat feature and we will address your questions at the end. Thank you. Ty?
All right, thank you, Erin, and welcome everybody to the webinar. First, I'd just like to start off with a simple overview of HCIactive and some of the services our company offers. We have an integrated platform that offers such things as corporate wellness programs, including incentive management. We also have an enrollment and eligibility platform, and of course, ACA tracking and reporting. Since we are an integrated platform, if you are a current subscriber of our enrollment product, about 80% of the necessary data for ACA reporting is going to be automatically loaded for you. However, you do not need to be on our enrollment platform to subscribe to ACA reporting. This is also offered as a standalone option. What are the ACA reporting capabilities? Well, through our solution, you'll have the ability to track employee hours. We can integrate with your payroll provider for timely data feeds, and you can electronically fill, e-file, and manage your IRS forms through the solution. And you're also provided an ACA tax document repository in the solution as well. As you probably know by now, the employer shared responsibility tax, it applies to applicable large employers who the IRS would define as any employer with 50 or more full-time equivalent employees. As an employer, you generally know who your full-time employees are and who your part-time employees are. But the challenge you may face is determining how many of those part-time employees may actually qualify as full-time equivalent employees and have to be tracked and reported on to the IRS. In tracking those employees' hours, it's not always so simple, but really that's why we're here to help. Working with your payroll provider, if we can integrate with them and create a data feed into the ACA dashboard solution, we are now capturing your payroll data, and we will then use that data to determine if an employee meets the full-time equivalent designation. The solution uses algorithms to do the calculations for you so that you don't have to maintain spreadsheets and databases and keep continually checking your employees' hours manually. So, as an applicable large employer, you are not only responsible for the IRS reporting aspect, but you must also be tracking your employees' hours to determine if the hours qualify them for an offer of coverage. And we do this with what we call the look-back methodology. And what this method does is that it looks back over a certain period of time, which we call the measurement period, where we look at the employee's hours worked. And then comes the admin period where we run the calculations, the algorithms, and we can make a determination on their full-time or part-time status. After that becomes the stability period, where if they are determined to be full-time equivalent, then they are eligible for an offer of coverage during that stability period. The employees that are already designated as full-time employees do not need to be tracked. but it's those that you may have that are part-time, hourly, variable hour employees, seasonal employees. It's those type of employees that as an employer you need to keep an eye on with ongoing tracking. So graphically, this is what the look-back period entails. So in period 1 here, we start with the measurement period in red. And here is where, again, we look back at the hours worked. This period is typically 12 months. It's then followed by this admin period here in orange. And in the admin period is where the full-time designation is determined. And if they are determined to be full-time, then during the stability period in blue, which is typically another 12 months, they are then eligible for offers of coverage. And then the tracking periods repeat themselves over time as you go on. So if one or more of these factors apply to your company, you may be at risk. Do you have part-time or seasonal employees? Do you have hourly employees? Do you have high turnover? Are you a part of a control group? A control group is when there is a common ownership between several businesses that all have separate tax IDs. So, for example, a parent company that may have several children companies underneath it, they can do one joint filing as a control group rather than each of the individual companies filing separately. So it's a lot more convenient for you if you are part of a control group to file all at once. Now here we're looking at a snapshot of an actual reporting dashboard of the solution. As you can see, there are a number of features you have at your fingertips that you can use to track and report your employees' hours, and so on. For example, if we just looked at the tracked employees here, we have a link there. If you were to click on that link, you would get an instant report, and within that report, you can easily see the average weekly hours the employee has worked during the measurement period. And then right next to that, in the next column, you can see the maximum average hours that the employee can still work over the rest of the measurement period and still maintain their non-full-time status. Okay, so that wraps up the reporting dashboard. Now we're going to focus on what we call the reporting essentials. The reporting essentials piece really is the gathering of the data to complete the 1094 and 1095 IRS forms that we will be submitting. There are going to be about 4 basic data loads that occur. And as I mentioned earlier, if your company is on our enrollment platform, about 80% of this data is already provided for you. However, you can still manually upload this information into the solution without being on our platform. So each of these data load steps builds upon the previous one, and we do it in a certain order to capture the data correctly and to be able to report it on the IRS forms. The first step here is the plan builder. Now here, if you have, we're just entering in your medical plan information. If you have 1 or 2 plans, you could probably enter it in manually. It's not that difficult. If you have a whole bunch of plans, say 5 or 6, you may want to do it through a file load. But what we're really doing here is just capturing the pertinent information about your medical plans that you offer. Your renewal dates, the plan cost, the monthly employee contribution, all this information that the IRS needs for ACA reporting. After the plan builder, we then upload the employee information. If we are integrated with your payroll provider, some of this information is already going to be here, such as the name and your hire date and those kind of information. If were not integrated with your payroll provider, we would do a full data load here and just capturing employee demographic information. Okay, the third step in the data load process is the plan assignment. And what this does is we are assigning those medical plans to those employees, and this can be based on their eligibility. So for example, hourly employees may be eligible for 2 medical plans within your company, whereas salaried employees, they may be eligible for 4 plans. We have different filters here that you can use to easily sort your employees into eligibility groups. So filters like a location, a department, or a particular pay type. So using those filters, you can easily assign plans to your members. After assigning the plans to the members, we then record the offers of coverage. We have 2 different templates, one for fully insured employers and another for self-funded employers. There's a couple of little differences between the two, but the solution is able to accommodate either one based on your situation. And here what we're really doing is we're assigning the date of offer, which for most individuals is going to be their open enrollment date. But for example, your new hires would have a different date of offer, and that would be based on their plan eligibility rules. And we're also recording here the outcome of that offer. Did they elect? Did they waive? And all of this is wrapping up our last data load, and from here we can go into the generation of the IRS forms. So now that all the data has been entered into the solution, we're going to generate IRS forms, and this is really where the rubber hits the road here, right? The forms will reside in electronic format in the solution, and you have the ability to correct the forms and save them electronically within the solution. When you're ready to send the 1095-C forms to the employees, we have a print and mail service that will print the 1095-C forms on the correct IRS-approved paper stock and envelopes and mail it directly to the employees. Otherwise, you can print and mail yourself as well if you so choose. And once you are ready to submit to the IRS, you can e-file directly through the solution directly to the IRS. The portal maintains a submission history for you and reports back a status of your submission. Were you accepted? Did you get accepted with errors? Were you rejected? And we also have details based upon those submission statuses. So if you were rejected, you're going to get a detailed report of why you were rejected. If you were accepted with errors, you're going to get details as to which specific records have those errors. And once you have that information, you can then go back into a 1095-C form or your 1094-C form and correct that data and resubmit through the e-file with the IRS. And you continue this process until you get an accepted status. It just seems like yesterday we finished up the 2015 ACA reporting year. And now it's time to look forward to the 2016 reporting year. There was a lot of problems last year with the IRS and their e-filing submission process, and a lot of the dates were pushed back several months. From all indications, from what we've heard from the IRS, the 2016 year, the deadlines are not going to move. So as you can see, January 31st The first reporting deadline for getting those 1095-C forms out to the employees is just around the corner. So it's really time to start thinking about what you're going to be doing for your ACA reporting purposes. And we have two reporting packages that we offer. The first one is ACA Reporting Essentials, and this is the basics. So here you're going to have the tools to upload and manage your data and to produce those 1094 and 1095 forms in e-file to the IRS. The other option is the ACA Reporting Dashboard. It includes everything in the Reporting Essentials, but you also have now the tools to track your employees that may be part-time, variable hour, or seasonal, so that you can manage those employees' hours better. So let's wrap up kind of everything we've covered here. As an applicable large employer, you have a requirement to file your ACA forms with the IRS. If you have these part-time employees, seasonal employees, what have you, that you need to track, you may be further at risk. And our solution is providing you an effective way to track these employees and meet the IRS deadlines on time and to avoid any possible fines.